Well, happy Valentine's Day. We started off with this movie called Love and Monsters. We started with this couple named Joel and Aimee. They was about to make love in the truck, and then all of a sudden, fucking explosions start coming down. You're like, where the heck these explosions come from? So apparently this is what happened. A meteor was supposed to be hitting the Earth, so they tried to throw rockets up at the meteor or whatever like that, but it destroyed the meteor, but it ended up breaking up into 1,000 pieces, and then on top of that, the rockets are coming back down to Earth. And because of the gamma radiation in the rockets, it turned regular like insects into this big ass monsters or some shit. Bottom line, it was the apocalypse and 90% of the world got wiped the fuck out. So it gets to 7 years later, Joel is standing in his bunker. He got his crew there, they do all the fighting. And what he does is like, make soup for him. Basically, he knows how to cook and work the radios. So every now and then when the radio does have power, he's able to talk to Aimee. I guess she's in like another bunker somewhere. Now keep in mind, they haven't seen each other in like 7 years because of this apocalypse. Then we got a situation where one of the bugs finally breached or whatever like that. We're like, oh shit, they gotta go handle business. They tell Joel stay here with the ladies, they about to go hunt this shit. Then they're looking on the monitor, they find out one of them gets caught, so Joel's like, fuck this shit. Joel's going out there with his bow and arrow, all of a sudden he sees the bug out of nowhere, but he's frozen stiff, and then the bug ends up killing Connor, he done deal dead as shit. Luckily these people had his back and they finished off the bug. So it gets to the point where he's like, look man, I'm going out there on the surface, I'm going to meet up with Aimee or I'm going to die trying. Now everybody looking at him, the keywords is, die trying. So apparently to get to Aimee, he's got to go to Jenny Beach, which is probably about 85 miles away from him. Which is basically a 7-day trip. Yeah, a 7-day trip on the fucking surface. He ends up going to his house trying to find supplies or whatever like that. Then he looks in the refrigerator. I don't know what the fuck he sees in there, but he closes that shit quick. It's like a barren wasteland on the surface. Then something pops out of the pool. You see his eyes and shit, and all of a sudden turns this big, crazy looking ass frog. Then this dog comes out of nowhere and saves his life. The dog ends up taking him into this mobile home. Apparently the dog's name is Boy, so sure. He had an owner, I guess it was this girl in a dress or whatever like that, because he always carried his dress around. But I'm pretty sure she got done deal dead of this shit too. So they get a little bit of sleep, and then Joel and Boy end up rolling with each other. So as they're walking, Joel ends up falling into this damn hole. This nigga about to get snacked on by some goddamn sandworms, and then all of a sudden, these two people come and save his life. Two people named Clyde and Minnow. Apparently, they've been living on the surface the entire time. They teach him how to really shoot his bow and arrow, and they teach him about all the type of creatures that are out there. Now he's saying that the sandworms got his scent, so something bigger that's related to a sandworm is going to be following him the whole time. Then they get to a certain part in the woods and then they tell him to stop, just sit still. Because this big ass fucking rock slug was looking at him, right? He tells him to give him the shirt so he can put the shirt on the rock slug and the rock slug goes about his business. So yeah. The reason for that is the queen sandworm could get lost in the scent and try to figure out what the fuck it is. And bottom line is they were following the scent because of the shirt. How would Clyde know they only smell the shirt? Who the hell knows? So basically Minnow's grown attached to him. She kind of likes him. Then we get this backstory about how her parents were killed. And then about Clyde's son getting snatched up on the subway. It's crazy. Then we found out about how Joel and Aimee got separated and then how Joel's parents got killed right in front of his face. He was lucky they told him to get out the car because whatever happened, the car was stuck under a tree or something like that and they were both stuck in there. Yeah, man, shit is messed up. So at this point, they've been traveling. He's about 30 miles away from his destination. Now, here's the thing. They're supposed to be going to this, like, snow cavern or whatever like that. It's supposed to be some type of, like, rest haven for people because bottom line is the monsters don't fuck with the cold. And this is where they part ways, because Jenny Beach is only about 30 miles away at this point. Now, Joel has this book. He's been writing down things about monsters, like each one that he interacts with or whatever like that. And plus the knowledge he learned from Clyde and Minnow, he learns how to handle himself in certain situations now. A little bit better than he did before. So he ends up getting to this area with this house or whatever like that. Then he ends up finding this Mavis robot. Now, here's the thing about the Mavis robot. They had one back at the bunker, but it didn't work. This one just happens to have an hour left of power or whatever like that. And it starts talking to him and everything. And then Mavis gets to get Mavis outside or whatever like that because Mavis' legs was chopped off or almost got eaten in half. And then it tells him like, oh, sky jellies. Basically like jellyfish in the sky. They ain't gonna do nothing to him or whatever like that. It's just nice to look at. Now he has this broken radio that he brought along with him too. So he was able to connect the radio to the Mavis or whatever like that, be able to talk to Aimee. Aimee thought this nigga was dead. She was like, yo, he's still alive. They got to talk, whatever like that. And then Mavis was about to power down, but right before it powered down, he told the Mavis his full name, and the Mavis was automatically able to look up like his parents and everything like that, had pictures and all this shit. I was like, damn. After that, it powered down, it was done deal. Now, Clyde had mentioned a while, this kid is definitely a survivor because the thing is, he's never met anybody else that come out of Fairfield in the last 7 years. So now you're thinking to yourself, what can he eat out here in this world or whatever like that? He sees these berries, but then Boy's like barking at that shit like, He's like, don't eat these berries. He's like, all right, noted. This is going to come up later in a minute. So they're about 9.3 miles away from Aimee at this point, right? They're going across this one spot, and Boy ends up hiding under this big-ass rubber duck. Like something the penguin would ride on in a movie like Batman Returns. Turns out this big-ass centipede came out of nowhere, you know what I'm saying? Joel learned from his training, shot that thing in his face, done deal dead as shit. Cooking with the arrows now, nigga. Then they get to another spot. Boy starts hiding again. And you're like, what the heck is going on now? You see this like fin come up out the ground on some jaw shit. And you're like, oh, this is the fucking queen sandworm. Niggas is all hauling ass trying to hide. And then you see this thing. It's like ugly as fuck. Somewhere along the run, he dropped his bows and arrows. I was like, what the fuck is his bow and arrows at? He ain't gonna be able to fight with nothing. Then Boy tries to get the dress out of the damn water that he had. We're like, fuck. Him trying to get the dress is gonna alert the damn sandworm. So I'm thinking to myself, this sandworm comes back, he's gonna have to save Boy. You're thinking to yourself, what the fuck is he gonna fight him with? And then he pulls out a hand grenade, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this part. Clyde messed around and gave him a hand grenade before they separated on their journey. So Clyde throws the hand grenade as he's jumping into the water on this like forward matrix shit, blows up the daggone sandworm, is done deal did his shit. But now it's trying to come out the water and he's starting to feel pain and like, oh my god. It's fucking leeches, yo. Now regular leeches are bad enough. Now think about mutated fucking leeches. It's like, ugh. So he's yelling at the dog because basically got him in a situation where they both could have been killed or whatever like that. So Boy ends up running away, but he ain't wanting to run or whatever. So now all of a sudden he's starting to feel woozy. You're like, oh shit, these motherfuckers are probably poisoned and shit. So Clyde, he told him about certain things about certain plants could stop the poison or whatever like that. So luckily he was able to be near one of these plants or whatever. And then he's just like damn near passing out. And right when he's pretty much about to be done deal, all of a sudden Aimee pops out of nowhere. We're like, what the fuck? So Aimee ends up taking him back to the bunker, you know what I'm saying, curing him and whatnot. The thing with Aimee is she's been so busy, and then you see like all these other old people that she's got to care for or whatever like that. She pretty much runs the fucking camp. Now, considering what's going on in the world, you think to yourself, how do these people get this old and live this long? So they got this bunker that actually leads straight to the beach or whatever like that. And you're thinking to yourself, all this open space, how could this beach be fucking safe? Yeah. Then she gets in the meet up with this crew. It's like a 3-man crew led by Captain Jack Sparrow. Now, his name is Jack, but you get the point. So think about this dude. He got his own little cruise ship, right? And he's telling the rest of the people that's not really safe like that no more, you know what I'm saying? So everybody could be able to join him on his cruise ship and then they could travel out to, you know what I'm saying, to the waters because there's less monsters in the water than there are on land or something like that, right? Now, the running joke in the movie is every time he meets somebody, they're thinking to themselves like, well, what happened? What happened in the colony? Were you like a food stealer or something? It's like, no. The irony about that is he was actually the one cooking for the colonies. So more irony I'm going to tell you about in a minute. So for some reason, he really doesn't trust this Jack guy, right? Not just because he's good looking and trying to take his Aimee, which I don't think he's doing. But more so when he's starting to make radio communications to contact his colony or whatever like that. He hears them in the background. They're like, yeah, we're still alive, but shit ain't good. You know what I'm saying? People starting to break in. There's more stuff starting to happen. So now we're thinking to ourselves, that was the best thing for him to leave the colony, you know what I'm saying? Find out about some shit that's going on in the top surface or whatever like that. But after he gets off the phone call, which the radio communications messed up, he looks over and he sees these fucking berries. These are the same berries that Boy was trying to make sure he didn't get to eat. Now, Jack, his thing is, he likes to make his own type of beer. He's been making beer with the fucking poisonous berries. So now he's trying to warn everybody, even including Aimee or whatever like that. And then all of a sudden they start dropping like flies. And they're just like, oh, just dizzy, just drunk, whatever like that. And then one of the crewmates turns around and bashes them in the head. They all wake back up tied up to this anchor thing. It turns out Jack and the crew, they are food stealers. There you go, the irony. So now you're thinking to yourself, where could this fuel be, you know what I'm saying, to power up this cruise ship? Well, they got this anchor that somehow has electricity in it, and it's tied to this big-ass fucking crab. So he's basically going to take their food and let the crab eat these niggas. I'm like, the fuck? We tied the old people up, but they ain't tied to nothing, so at least the old people can get up and run. Aimee and Joel end up breaking out of the chains. Joel's fighting the crab, and Aimee's trying to get to them niggas. But they end up getting tossed, and they end up getting the food on the boat. So he's got this electric button that he presses, you know what I'm saying, to control the crab. So Joel's thinking to himself, this crab is under control. So right when the crab grabs him, the crab just stops for a minute, and Joel's thinking to himself, like, okay, how do I free this fucking crab? We go back to something that Clyde told him. He's like, look, not all these monsters are bad. You got to look into their eyes or whatever. So Aimee had got back up. She snatched the arm cannon off of one of the crew, whatever like that, and then she threw it to Joel. But instead of Joel shooting the crab with the arm cannon, he shoots the daggone chain or whatever. So it frees the crab. The crab sees what's up, and then he looks over at the boat, and now he's heading towards the crew that finished these niggas. Crab ends up eating all three of them. They done deal daddy shit. Did they get their food supply back? Who the heck knows? So now Joel's on a mission to go back to the colony, you know what I'm saying, to get his crew, whatever like that. And I'm like, damn, y'all could have just smashed first a little something, you know what I'm saying, before you left out. Like, dude, you been trying to get to this girl like for a fucking week. He was sitting there like 7 years. I'm like, dude, give it a business. Pretty sure he did that off camera, but anyway. He did tell her the directions to the snow haven because bottom line is they ain't gonna be able to stay in that spot anyway. So Joel goes back to get his crew, lets them know what the deal is, what's good in the streets. And now Joel's crew and Aimee crew are gonna make their way to the snow haven. Last scene we see is Clyde and Minnow looking over the horizon just to see if anybody will pop up and get it popping. And that's Loving Monsters for you. some sci-fi apocalyptic romantic mayhem. There you have it. Love and Monsters on Netflix. Check it out before it gets deleted on March 5th, I think. I think it's like the last day to see it.